we have higher faculties. One of them is perception, Chris. Okay. And you may have heard Wayne Dyer say it so beautifully, change the way you look at things, the way the things you're looking at change. That is really it. It's not being optimistic, because with what's going on in the world, the work requires practice, just like anything else, just like exercise, just like yoga, right? Practice living, this is the easiest thing to sit here and say, by the way, from the inside out, which is less than 1% of the population is living, versus outside in. Because if we're looking at what's happening, especially in today's life, market, economy, right, politics, outside in, we're going to keep pointing the fingers. And that in and out of itself is just going to lower our vibrational frequency. And that doesn't allow you to manifest your life by design. And my entire life's work is for you to live your juiciest vision. For that to happen, you want to live from the inside out. Easy? No, I don't want to create hard, because everything is created in language. And if I can do it, like I was an addict of all sorts, by the way, anyone can do it, literally.
You're listening to Brainwork Framework, a business and marketing podcast, brought to you by focus-biz.com.
Welcome back to another episode. With us today is a mindset coach, Supercharged with SuZan Peltekian. So excited to have you on. How are you doing today?
So excited to be here. Thanks for having me, Chris. I'm great. Thank you. How about yourself?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for asking. We always like to ask our entrepreneurs, tell us about your journey. What were you doing before that kind of led you into what you're doing today?
We'll make it a very long story short, because it's not about me. It's about our people here today. I was a realtor, but right before that, I was everything else, from teacher of English as a second language to debt collector to flight attendant, you name it. This is the only thing I've ever wanted to do since childhood, Chris, and that's why I share it. I never believed in myself, so it's not an irony that I'm going to talk about this today. If I can do it, anyone listening in can. And I made one decision right before COVID to retire from real estate. That was my last. I was a mortgage broker, mortgage underwriter prior to that. And the number one RE/MAX real estate company in the world that happens to be my backyard, they're a Toronto company, filled up all of my spots during COVID. 5+ years later, here we are. So that's the story in a nutshell. My divine purpose, my childhood dream. This is all I've ever wanted to do. Zero belief in self in the past. We'll leave it there.
It's quite the journey. And tell us more about what you do today. You're now helping people with their mindset, getting them out of their rut, or just supercharging what they're doing currently?
Oh, what a great question. So I do different things now. My vision is to co-create yours. That's anyone listening in. My mission is to touch all of our precious billions and raising the conscious awareness of our planet, one human soul at a time. The way I'm currently doing it, it's been a program that's existed since I became a coach through the Mind Gym. Just like we go to the gym, I've had a trainer for 20+ years, go train with them, 3 to 5 times a week. Every day they're on with me, just like we are here on camera live. We're live together every day, and we're literally training. The number one asset everyone listening in, Chris, that they have is access to universal intelligence. We are so limitless. And I want everyone listening in to actually know that about themselves and how powerful they are. So that's what we do. And it all started with me, as I mentioned, in childhood. I wanted to become this rah-rah motivational coach. I always knew that I had this voice like louder and the gift of enthusiasm. But then when I learned this number one thing that I want to share with your precious audience, if we get the opportunity, we can dive even deeper, that the only prerequisite to having it all is knowing what we want. We don't get that. There's a caveat. We get who we're being, and we can dive into that. And I'm like, no, the message needs to change, because Zig Ziglar says motivation doesn't last. It's just like bathing. So there is an aspect. My name is my handle, my company name is Supercharged with SuZan, and it works with the alliteration given I was a teacher of English. And there's so much more than motivation. It's literally getting you present to the magic that is Chris. And Chris being magical doesn't take away from the gazillions listening to your brilliant podcast, because each one of you is number one of one, if that resonates. That's what I do in a nutshell. Get you present to the magic within you.
I love that. So now when people finally focus on their goals, what they want, how do we decide the roadmap to get there? Because I feel like a lot of people just feel overburdened. They're like, oh, maybe I'm not good enough for that, or I don't deserve it, or it's going to be so much work, or I don't even know if I'm even going to get that end result. So how do we get over ourselves and get like a strategy or a roadmap to now taking action?
You asked so many great questions in that one question. The one time I did that.
I just dumped it all on you.
Yes, it's fantastic. And Goals versus vision. So all of what I teach is backed up by neuroscience and quantum physics. A lot of it is in theology. I don't teach religion, theology, none of that, but it's in the Bible. It says, without a vision, the people perish. So the number one step is create the most compelling vision of your life. Now that may be scary, and my invitation is that the scarier it is, the better it is, Chris. Remember, all we're doing is taking pen to paper and writing down a couple of pages of what is it that we truly want. This isn't the goal. This is the juiciest, wildest vision that, wow, if I had a magic wand and you could have your dream life, what would it look like? No pressure. I don't have a magic wand. Now, you asked a very great question within that question. You said, if it's scary, how are we going to do it? Like a version of it. You said it better. I'm slaughtering it a little. Don't mind me. Excuse me. And I'm going to use the word God interchangeably with universe, source energy, infinite intelligence. Please don't get stopped. Whoever's listening into the word, whatever you believe in, I use them interchangeably. If the creator planted that seed within you of desire, it's literally your freaking job to bring it to life. That's our job. And the goal is, first of all, create the vision. That's the only prerequisite to having it all. But there's a big caveat. We don't get what we want. We get who we're being. So step number 2, and I'm giving they're actual steps that I give my paid clients. So please use them up. We get to create a short paragraph of our self-image. We may have heard it on IG or social media said otherwise. Self-image is the same as concept, self-concept and self-identity. So we can never outperform our identity. The good news is whenever I have bad news, I have great news. We can't outperform our identity, Chris, but we can always alter it. And that's what we're going to do. First, create the juiciest vision. From there, create a short paragraph of I am statements of who we get to become. Step into it. It's your true self. You're not becoming someone new to fulfill on that juiciest vision, right? Because if we identify as whatever, let's say that, hey, I'm a gym rat, for example, right? Then I'll get up and go to the gym. But if I identify as someone who hates the gym, I don't even use the word hate. It's funny. It's been 30 plus years and I just did, right? Let's say I hate the gym. Then I'm not going to, or it's going to be a drag. It's going to be a struggle. So everything is a co-creation with the universe. Does that answer so far? And I can go through the other steps. I just want to ping pong,
Yes.
Chris.
Yes, absolutely. Like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If we believe we are, then therefore we are, and then we can't break out of that.
100%. And we're so much more powerful than we know and that we've been led to know. We've been programmed, and you said a bunch of limiting beliefs. What if we don't believe? What if? Knowing, first of all, awareness is key. Knowing that these are all lies. They're actual in the word belief, like our thoughts. Thoughts are things. Everything is energy. And our thoughts become our beliefs. In the word belief, there's the big word LIE. And we've been programmed since childhood. Up until 3, 4, we were free spirits. 1 minute we were astronauts. The next minute we were nurses. We could be whatever we wanted. No one said no until they said a version of shut up and sit down at the corner. And now we've become those adults who are scared. And yet fear is the only thing to be afraid of. There's nothing to be afraid of because we're meant to actually explore life.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And now, how much do you believe that our environment and our relationships influence us as people and our ability to grow further and expand our knowledge? Do you find that being around smarter people and searching for mentors has been helpful for you or other people as well?
My goodness. It's great. Everything. Mentorship has completely transformed my life. I have the deepest privilege. I'm humbled. I literally get to pinch myself every day that I get to serve precious souls globally, worldwide. And it's transformational. And the friends, family members, of course, and environment, even physical environment. Everything. And I don't mean just smarter, it's more aware. And the way I explain awareness is the way one of my mentors who passed away, he was in the movie The Secret, Bob Proctor. I don't know if you're familiar with him. And he was in the movie and the book The Secret, and he says the opposite of ignorance, of awareness is ignorance. And the only difference between each one of us is just that. Awareness. So let's say one goes to a 5-star resort in the Bahamas or anywhere across the globe. That 5-star resort, when we're visiting there, we're no better than the cleaners. The owner there is no better than us. It's the difference between each one of us is simply awareness. And the other way I explain it is through the most lavish, luxurious, opulent condo building in the planet. The owner of that building is there, right? Who owns multiple buildings like that across the globe. People that work in engineering underground, they're not even aware that it is a luxury building. Then you have someone living on the third floor. They just have a view from the third floor. They don't see there's an ocean and all the glorious nature around, God's glory. And then there's an individual who lives on the 18th floor. They have way higher awareness. Then the owner arrives in her helipad. They don't even have to take the elevator. They don't crisscross with the other neighbors. Like, that's it. And they have a view that most human beings don't get to have their entire lives. And yet each one of us, by divine birthright, that is what is ours, but we're not aware. So we don't have it. So creation is the most important. That's why we want to literally put pen to paper the minute your brilliant podcast goes live.
I love
Get
that.
clear on what you want. Yeah.
Yeah, like we want people taking action to feel
Please.
inspired and then, okay, have a clear strategy on how do I do this, which is why it's great for you to kind of walk through these steps and just make these comparisons. So that way we can understand how it works and how we can better ourselves.
Thank you for that. So I'll give you the third step on that. First, we said it's the vision. Then we said it's the self-image. The third is make a decision. It sounds so simple. It was literally one decision without me knowing about the power of decision, Chris. We're all one thought away, one decision away from a completely different life. And when you make a decision, you're actually telling the universe, God, creator, source energy, that you actually trust. You're not saying, let me see it. It's here. I'm telling you, it's here, it's here, it's here. Well, you're like, no, I can't see it. Well, I'm telling you it's here, right? When we believe first, that's when we're going to see it, not the other way, which most of us, myself included in the past, lived by. Like, I was in complete victim consciousness, and we can talk about that if it serves. So I don't want it to paint this picture that all of a sudden, I got it together. Of course, I'm work in progress till my last breath. And the work really works when you work it. So the third step is decision. We burn the boats. That's it. And that decision to repeat step 1 and 2 and to go all in on ourselves. If we're not 100% in, Chris, we ain't in at all. Let me be crystal clear. How did we learn how to walk? Through repetition. How did we learn how to ride a bike? Even if we were 5, when we're 95, we're going to remember because of the power of the subconscious, which is the reason my average client is 4Xing and turning their yearly into their monthly income. And then we're rinsing and repeating. We're using the power of the subconscious that is available to each and every precious soul. And then, in addition to that, once you make a decision to repeat these day in, day out, you can literally record it. There's an app I keep recommending. I should become an affiliate. I'm not. I don't have stocks in their company. It's called ThinkUp. And you can record it. So entrepreneurs very busy, humans very busy, everyone's parents very busy, right? Record it, and while you're sleeping, you can listen to it while you're driving, while you're cooking, while you're cleaning, whatever you're doing, while you're walking, exercising, right? And repetition is key because that's how the subconscious learns, and it's the emotional mind. So it learns through emotion, through repetition, and it only understands present tense. That's why I said the vision must be written in the present, not I am going to be. And then the self-image, the same thing. So that's the third step. The fourth is the vision may be so juicy that it may be overwhelming for most. Ideally, it is the case. So we take a goal from there. We break it down into something that we can take on every day that ends with a day. Take the weekends off if you must, right? And then that's step 4. And step 5 is take action. In the law of attraction, I teach the law of attraction. In the word attraction, there's action. But it's not hustling and grinding, Chris. It's aligned action, inspired action, coming from your highest self, your highest beingness. Does that resonate?
Absolutely. It's like
Cool.
taking action with more intent. And I feel like once you take away the 80% of the stuff that isn't even working or doesn't align with those goals, suddenly you're like, wow, I have so much time and I can put more intent into this action.
As you said it so brilliantly, time and energy are the 2 things we can't really buy. Everything else can be purchased. Absolutely.
That's right. Absolutely. And I love what you said about burning the boats, because how easy it is for us to fall back into our old patterns, our old behaviors, where maybe we get even a little bit of taste of success and we're like, this doesn't feel right. It's different. It's new. It feels uncomfortable. So they feel like I don't deserve it and they fall back. But burning the boats, I feel like that is the surefire way to say, I'm on this new land now. I need to make something of where I am now.
Yes. Thank you for that. And the vision will allow you to have that instead of repeating every day a version of yesterday, a version of the Groundhog Day, if you will. That's not like we've been sold a very big lie about go to work, go to the gym, take a couple holidays and die. Like that is a very sad reality that most of us are living in, that I had bought into. And It's a huge lie. You are limitless. You're not only Michelangelo's David, you are Michelangelo. So you keep chipping away at all the lies, all the programming, all the viruses to actually unleash the essence, the truth. I'm getting goosebumps, and I can't repeat this enough times and not feel it each time. That I believe is our duty. It's our job, and it's our responsibility, not only to ourselves, but to our mankind, quite frankly, and to the generations that are coming.
Absolutely. And I was curious about how you and your clients have implemented these strategies. What is the outward effect of that individual? Meaning, are the people around them now seeing the results that they're getting and getting inspired from that? Or how do you feel about just your energy, the aura you're putting out to the world? Do you feel it's having a positive impact in your daily activities?
Oh, I sure hope so. I might as well just go 6 feet under now if I 100%. So in the law of attraction, they're either going to rise up with you with all due respect, or they're just going to go away with blessings and love and no judgment. And I say that with utmost compassion. In my personal life, that's been the case. And also in my clients, the average has 4x. This is money wise. Within months of working with me, some have only doubled, some have tripled, some haven't, right? Yes. Some have 5x, some have turned their yearly into their monthly, as I mentioned, and they're rinsing and repeating. But the money is a byproduct of who we're being. So I don't teach eat better, they're eating better. I don't release weight. They are at their better, like for themselves, because weight is not a weight issue. It's a self-image thing. Everyone is beautiful the way they are. But society or markets has taken advantage of it being a self-image thing and most of us not being aware. I don't teach relationships. Not only are they in juicier marriages, they're also consciously uncoupling, if that is. So happiness all around, which happens to be the secret, which is not a secret of the law of attraction. If we want to really attract more to our lives in any and all areas, it would be that. What I teach is life by design is for you to be happy, for you to live in a state of awe and appreciation. So the results are, a lot of clients have walked away from some people in their lives, but all done from what they've shared in a very loving, peaceful manner.
Yeah, to balance both your friendships, your personal, professional relationships, like you said, is a byproduct of what you're creating for yourself. And it's not that you taught those specific actions, they just happen on their own with the assistance of just putting the mindset in the right way. Now, for all of our listeners out there, I wanted to ask, where can people find you and connect with you online?
I'm at Supercharged with SuZan. And for our American family members, SuZan is written with a Z. We call it a Z. And every time I'm in the US, they're like, what? I'm like, so it's SuZan. Don't ask why. My parents wrote my name wrong, basically. But it's so perfect for me because I have such zest. And I love the word zest and passion. I'm so passionate about life and humans and transformation. So it's at Supercharged with SuZan, or superchargedwithsuzan.com is my website. And by the way, I give away a lot of freebies. So in case someone connects, let me know you're coming from Chris as well and his awesome podcast. I do free lives where we dive deeper into this every Monday in my private Facebook group, which is free, every Friday on IG, which is complimentary. And I answer any mindset, manifestation, and peak performance questions. So nice. I'm at your service. Basically, this is my life's work and I don't work a day in my life. So that's my privilege. Yes. Thank you.
That's wonderful. We appreciate that. It's nice to give out to the world as well. And we'll have those links available down in the show notes and the description for everybody. SuZan, we like to ask, what are you looking forward to in 2025? So at time of recording, we're about halfway through 2025. Do you have like new product launches or things you're excited about or things you're scaling that you want to share with the audience?
Well, there's always something that we're doing. We don't have any dates yet. We're launching a bunch of stuff. One of the ones that I have only 3 spots for is the daily mind gym. So I said I've been a coach for 5+ years right before COVID, but these people that are in that group have been with me for 8 years, Chris. So we were realtors together. For free, I was doing it. I started charging them. They stayed. I upped their investment. They stayed. I upped it again. They stayed. So we've been together. It's an elite group that meets with me daily. I only have 3 spots. If anyone was interested in really going deep into this stuff, we meet 5 days a week. And then we have my brand new baby, which I'm just absolutely in love with. For those that don't want to be there daily, they think that's too much, but they still want all of the benefits and bite size with me, is every Monday. It's called Manifest Mondays. And it's all about momentum Mondays, money Mondays, mindfulness Mondays, magical Mondays, and it's just a great way to not only start the week, but to be supercharged throughout the week, because I send out messages personally to all the group members throughout the week. And then the freebies, of course, but I'll have 3 to 4 times global masterclasses. I'll talk to you about that as well. They're completely complimentary for the world. I just finished one in May, so I'm not doing one right now. But whenever we do, please feel free to invite your people out there, my people, and it's all complimentary. And usually they're 5-day events. They're online, so anyone can pop in and join us and ask any live questions as well. But I dive deeper. It's a 5-day event where I dive deeper into everything we're discussing.
Very nice. That's wonderful. We appreciate both the resources that you make available, because knowledge is a wonderful tool. As you mentioned before, something about always be learning. Like I'm never going to stop learning until the day I die. And I feel similar about knowledge and just sharing those experiences with other people. The more knowledge we can share, I feel like unless you take action from that knowledge, it's still helpful, but it doesn't do you as much. So I don't mind sharing the knowledge, right?
I love that. And I hope they take action. That's why I'm here. And you said something so perfect that I had learned from that same mentor. Knowledge isn't power. That's one of the biggest lies the use of knowledge is power. And that's why I give actual actionable steps. Is like the minute you listen to this young man's brilliant podcast, is like put pen to paper. And if you're stuck with the vision, it seems too scary, start with a want list. Everyone has a list of stuff, from contribution to legacy, to toys that we want to own, to travels, to whatever it may be, lifestyle, charities. Write it all down and then turn it into the most epic adventure story of your life. Because as far as we know, we're here one go. It's not a dress rehearsal. Make it our most epic life by design, you know?
Absolutely. And with your experience working with different business owners and clients and people around the world, is there one commonality, one mistake that a lot of these people are making that's preventing them from getting to the next level?
Ooh, I've never been asked that, and especially not in that way. Yes, and I'll put myself in that group, is believing our lies. Like, I'm giving strategies on all mindset stuff that another mentor had taught me, that more than 95% of all of life is mindset. More than 95%, that means of all of our business is mindset. It's really self-image, it's identity, right? So it's believing that lie. So anything that is limiting us, Chris, is a limiting belief. We're literally limitless. I mean, you're David, except you're not David, you're Chris Troka. It's like even more exceptional. You're number one of one. And I don't know if you know these stats, and I want to research them further because I've been using them a lot. It takes 1 in 400 trillion for you to even be here. So if you're not a miracle and the co-creator of miracles, I don't know, like literally pinch yourself, right? I just reminded my groups yesterday, I'm like, you're 1 in 400 trillion, like pinch yourself.
You're special. You're unique. You're not like everybody else. I feel like that gives us our own ownership over ourselves and our actions. And like, okay, if I have this 1 in 400 trillion chance, let's give it all we got.
Yes, we really owe it to ourselves. I don't think we get that. Like, I'm getting it more and more every day, that this is it. It's not a dress rehearsal. Let's act like the stars that we are, not like the extras, as one of my mentors would say. You really are beyond special.
Absolutely. Now, how do we balance optimism and pessimism, where optimism, I feel like we're in the clouds and we're not really aware,
Yes.
and pessimistic, where we're on top of like current events and just the reality of things? But how do we find the balance between those, where we can still be smart but not feel, I guess, ignorance of knowledge?
I love this question. That is a great one, especially in today's world. Although it comes in handy every now and then. So I want to make a difference in answering any of the questions. This one is particularly, so it's not optimism, if you will. I looked exactly the same, like outwardly with my attitude, except inside I'm like, what kind of question did he ask? And so it was toxic positivity versus having done the work. It's a practice, by the way. I'll be doing it as I share till my last breath, right? Is the attitude is authentic now. So I was everything but authentic, if that makes sense. I'll throw myself under the bus. It's the truth, right? And a lot of people who aren't aware think this is optimism. They think I am Pollyanna-ish. It's not that. It's I live from my higher faculties. We have higher faculties. One of them is perception, Chris. Okay. And you may have heard Wayne Dyer say it so beautifully: change the way you look at things, the way the things you're looking at change. That is really it. It's not being optimistic, because with what's going on in the world, just so you know, I use a lot of supercharge shifters, which I'm more than happy to share today. One of them is turning off the news. And I know it may not be possible for everyone, right? I was in Vegas for a conference for one of my coaches in 2017. I came back home. I gave away my flat screen TV and we called it a day. When, of course, every now and then a client will tell me something about what they heard. I go on Instagram, although I don't follow any news channels. It's there. And I would really invite precious souls to answer your question more succinctly is practice. The work requires practice just like anything else, just like exercise, just like yoga, right? Practice living, this is the easiest thing to sit here and say, by the way, from the inside out, which is less than 1% of the population is living, versus outside in. Because if we're looking at what's happening, especially in today's life, market, economy, right, politics, outside, we're going to keep pointing the fingers. And that in and out of itself is just going to lower our vibrational frequency. And that doesn't allow you to manifest your life by design. And my entire life's work is for you to live your juiciest vision. For that to happen, you want to live from the inside out. Easy? No, I don't want to create hard because everything is created in language. And if I can do it, like I was an addict of all sorts, by the way, anyone can do it, literally.
Absolutely. I totally agree. Everything really comes down to that perception, your perspective on how you look at things and the way that they can change. I love that tidbit there. SuZan, we only have a couple more minutes here. I wanted to ask, have there been any really great mentors or people who have inspired you along your journey that you maybe want to give a shout out to or recommend that they follow, maybe a book or a podcast or something that has like helped you personally?
Other than your podcast, other ones?
All of them, no. Right? All the knowledge.
There's so many great ones, and I highly recommend yours. Of course, thank you so much for having me here. Number one person is my dad. My dad is the biggest inspiration, past, present, future. He's the one person who's always believed in me. That's why I will touch the billions. I know that. I say that without a shadow of a doubt. Other than that, multiple great mentors. Yes, Bob Proctor's no longer here. He would be one. The law of attraction, Abraham, like I'm really study the laws of the universe, just like the law of gravity. You know, if you go to a balcony or anywhere upstairs, don't try to jump out. You're never going to go up. You know, it's going to be down 100% of the time. I would say that. And I would want to leave everyone with a message of their divinity, that you're literally a spark of the divine, and get to know yourself is my number one message. Does that answer?
That is perfect. Yes, it is wonderful. SuZan, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your wisdom, your tips and tricks, both what has worked for you personally and for your clients as well. So excited to have you on for a next series, probably in a year or two, to just kind of reach out once you hit that billion mark, because I know it's coming. It's just like what time, and then you can let us know, hey, I'm a billionaire now. It's super cool.
Well, more important than the billionaire is touching the billions and making a massive impact for our mankind, because before you hit record there, I said it really takes something to be a human being, and yet when we do the work, life becomes really much easier. I'm humbled to be a servant of our human race. I thank you so much for your time and for having me on your epic podcast and your beautiful, brilliant energy.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing that with us today, and we appreciate it.